Wallahu alam. Any other questions? Time to go. Okay.
What happens when the community differs opinion in Aqidah? Like you mentioned, we got issue that the word Allah can only be used if you are Muslim, but cannot be used if you are Christian or agnostic.
The use of the word Allah. If you are to go back to Quran, Sunnah, and the earlier scholars, that wasn't an issue. Why? Because the Jahiliyyah were using Allah even before Islam. The Prophet's father was called Abdullah. The Arab Jews and the Arab Christians were using Allah in their own books. So if you go purely by what does the Quran say, what does the Sunnah say, you would say, but that was not an Aqidah issue. They had wrong concepts of Allah, but Quran came as musaddiqan and muhaiminan lima bayna yadayhi, came to correct all concepts. What becomes an issue is when you look at your own urf, your own context. Why is somebody wanting to use a particular name? And what are the arguments? So the question is, can that person use this word or not use this word? It's not a difference in Aqidah. Yeah. This is an area of fiqh regarding can somebody use this term or not use that term. So that becomes one where a group of scholars here are to decide based on the Quran, based on the Sunnah, based on the tools, the Maqasid, Maslaha, your own urf, what is it leading to? And it is those scholars in that society who are the best to decide. And the debate will always go on. But hopefully, the strongest opinion, the one that is most useful, would reign. Back in Nigeria, we want Christians to use Allah. Yeah, why? Because some Christians are saying Allah is the same as Allat. It's an idol that is in the Kaaba. They are worshipping another idol. They are not worshipping the one God. We are the ones saying to the Christians in Nigeria, no. You see, your Arab Christians are saying Allah, yeah, it's the same Allah. It's the one God. You say God the Father, yeah, the one that Jesus worshipped, yes, that's Allah. And the Quran says, قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ تَعَالَوْا عَلَى كَلِمَةٍ سَوَاءٍ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَكُمْ. And he carries on, Allah na'abuda illallah, that we do not worship any except Allah. We and you worship none but Allah. So in Nigeria, our circumstance is probably different from here. And it is really up to your society, when an issue like this comes, to weigh. In where people use the word Allah, what has been the damage? And what's the benefit? As we said before, everything that has advantage will have disadvantages. It's to weigh, is the advantage greater or less? But I think it will be difficult to take the debate back in time, because the context in which others found themselves is not the context that, from what I have understood on the debate here, the kind of arguments there, it would be difficult to support some of the arguments here. But you know your situation better. Yeah. So, I told you be very careful about taking opinions from people from elsewhere. Yeah. Yeah, so this is where, if you understand your situation better, you get your scholars, look at the usul step by step. If the disagreement is not coming from Quran, the disagreement is not coming from mutawatir hadith, then put your seatbelt on. Don't do takfir, no. Just calm down. It's an area where the scholars agree to disagree when the issue is not from Quran or Sunnah mutawatir. Yeah, it's more to do with your urf, issues to do with maslaha, and how suspicious you may be of some Christians using or abusing the word Allah for some ulterior motives. Yeah, so this is your own, this Sadd al-Daraya principle. Is it leading to, what's the probability, what's the severity? You will be the ones to decide on that one. And may Allah continue to guide you and all of us. Alhamdulillah.
When you have conflicting or variations of
Sorry?
You said it's now one of the ways to decide which one to choose was the Maqasid. How do you draw the line between laxity and rigidity when you use Maqasid?
Very good question. That among the approaches some scholars suggest is when there's difference of opinion, to go with the opinion that is in line with the Maqasid. But the question he's asking is, how do you draw the line when it comes to Maqasid between laxity, where you just allow anything to go, and rigidity, where you are not allowing flexibility? And what the scholars have is, when it comes to the Maqasid, they have a ranking of the Maqasid. Those Maqasid or those maslaha that they consider mu'tabara. In other words, they are established by text. This is something that Imam al-Juwayni al-Haramain made a major contribution to. And alhamdulillah, a great Shafi'i scholar. So those that were mu'tabara based on text. Then there were those that were maslaha or masalih that were mulgha. These were baseless. They contradicted the Sharia. Then you had the masalih al-mursala. Those that were not based on text but which didn't contradict the text either. And it is in that area that Imam Shafi earlier on was more worried that people would just go with their reasoning, particularly leadership, and just allow things. So what some of the scholars did, particularly Imam al-Ghazali, was to break down more criteria for accepting maslaha that were mursala. So for example, for him it was important that it was established through qiyas. Whereas with mu'tabara, the established one by the text did not need qiyas. But those what are mursala would need qiyas to back them up. But they went a bit further. That where a maslaha was really a maslaha and it actually brought benefit. And it brought benefit to the majority, not just to a few. And that it didn't contradict any of the other maqasid or any text on the Quran or the Sunnah. In other words, they had other ranking to become more certain of maqasid so that it wasn't just in the name of maqasid you just take any fatwa. Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't have time, nor am I qualified to go into the depth. What we've tried to do today is, if usulul fiqh is like a city, we didn't just walk through one main road, we ran through it. Yeah. So there are a lot of shoots. This subject is the most complicated subject in the ulumuddin, in the sciences of the deen. It's a very big subject. So complicated that it has become very difficult to get a mujtahid in it. You can get a person who nobody has a problem saying he's a muhaddith. And this one is a mufassir. No problem. But mujtahid, that was another level. Yeah. So all we have done today is just an introduction to the field, what it is, the main branches, the main areas of agreement, the main areas of disagreement, with the hope that we appreciate the differences better, we respect those differences, and understand why it is important for us to keep unity in spite of our diversity, and to make sure as much as possible, when it comes to da'wah, we appreciate the role of fatwas, the role of maqasid, and those of us involved in da'wah to really be more open to the fact that there are other valid ways